everybody had a great weekend. If you celebrate Easter, I hope it was a great Easter for you. And I hope it's nice wherever you are, that maybe you're starting to feel a little bit of spring. Today doesn't feel much like spring to me. In Arizona, where it's typically sunny and like 80 degrees this time of year, we had another round of rain. It completely downpoured starting at about 3:30 in the morning. So it's kind of gloomy and damp, and yeah, it doesn't feel like spring today, but I'm hoping the sun's going to come out. I hope the sun is out where you are, and I'd love to hear from you guys, know that you're out there, and I'd love to hear where you're watching from. So it's another episode of Designing with Deb, and today we're going to do something fun, kind of in alignment with what's going on at artbeads.com today. So I see Julie K saying, "Hi Deb from Fort Collins, Colorado. I love Fort Collins. I've been there." Hi Diane from Illinois. You're looking forward to the show. Great. I'm so glad you're here. That's what's cool about watching this show at artbeads.com/live is I can see your comments. I can see what you're saying. I can see if you're talking to me, you're talking to a fellow art beater. I can see if, you like the show, because you might be giving me the little hearts. There's a little heart icon on your screen. You can click that at any time to tell me that you like what you're seeing, you like a certain product. Hello, Cindy. Cindy's from Miami, Florida. Winnie's here from Connecticut. Hi, Winnie. Cindy's here from Maryland. Oh my gosh, we've got a Miami and a Maryland Cindy. Donna O'Hori is here from Bellevue. Is that Nebraska? And Sharon from Arizona too. So thank you all for being here. So as I said, if you're watching on artbeads.com, you can interact. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, we love that you're watching, but we'd love for you to come over here where you can interact, because I can't see your comments live. But if you're on Facebook, you can actually enter the code on the screen and pop on over to see what's going on. So one more fun thing about watching this way is that you can click on that shopping bag and see everything that's in the show. So all of the things I'm working with today, tools, findings, beads, all of it, all there. So you can shop the show at any time. And I don't go away. So I'll just get small on the screen. You can still hear me. You can still see me. But you can actually go and look at the products and pop everything into your shopping cart as you go. So feel free to do that along the way. If you happen to lose me for some reason, you can always go back to artbeads.com/live, find the show there, or just go to artbeads.com and look for that red live. Click on that. It will pull up the live show. So today I'm doing a little something fun. I'm working with chain and beads. And today is the last day of an up to 40% off chain and finding sale. So that's crimps and jump rings and head pins and chain. And so I'm going to make one of my most favorite designs, and I'm going to show you a few things that I normally do when I create this kind of a design. We're going to make earrings. I'm missing earrings today, so I need some earrings for myself. And I'm hoping I'll inspire all of you to actually do this same technique and take advantage of the sale that's going on. Sorry, I got like a frog in my throat this morning. So I'm hoping that you guys will take advantage of the sale that won't be available if you're watching this show after Monday, April 1st. So yeah, let's get started, and feel free to keep the comments coming, you guys. Let's chitty chat while we make today. So I've got just a little something to get ourselves started here. So I wanted to show you the tools that I most commonly use to make these earrings I'm going to show you in a second. So I'm going to use a beading awl. And if you watched my Tool Tuesday show last week, this was one of my top favorite tools. This is very helpful for this project. You'll need some round nose pliers. These are Euro Tools, nice round nose pliers. You'll need a couple pair of chain nose pliers, and my most favorite Xuron chain nose is really, really great for this kind of a project. I've also got a second pair of chain nose to help me out with moving some things around. And then I've got a pair of cutters. These are also by Xuron. These are really great, feel really nice, and they have such an amazing color. I'm also going to use another tool that I featured in my Tool Tuesday, and that's these little trays to help me kind of organize my pieces and parts. And I got a lot of them here to work with. I don't think we'll need that many, but we'll see. So these are just a couple of samples I put together to show you what I mean by chain and bead earrings. So let me hold up one. So this is a little earring with chain and wire wrapped beads. So simple, simple, simple to make. You just need a few beads and a little bit of chain, and you've got a really elegant earring with lots of great movement. So these are just really lovely, and I loved using some of those fire polish beads and this Figaro chain. I'll tell you a little bit about the beads. The little gold tone beads are a 3mm Color Trends fire polish. They're really, really beautiful, and I think they are a nice contrast to the silver. And then there's also some Persian turquoise Picasso, just one of those for each of the earrings. And I absolutely love that color. Great for any time of year. And the Figaro chain I selected for these little earrings because they have a lot of texture to them. So let me show you this Figaro chain up close. So look at all those beautiful links. When you use pieces of this together, it just adds a ton of texture and a lot of interest to the earring that you're making. So this is just some of my favorite chain. This is small. So it's a 4mm by 1.5mm. So I selected that one because of those tiny beads. So I wanted the beads to be in proportion to the chain. So I really like these. They're just really fun and cute, and I just think they add a lot of fun design to what you might be wearing. And then I've got a second pair that I made, and these are a little bit more whimsical and fun. So I made these a little bit longer. I tend to love a long chain earring with just one bead at the bottom. And I liked this big chain because it just, I don't know, felt a little bit fun and felt a little bit interesting and would be very visible because it's a bright and shiny silver chain. Now this chain is cable chain, and it's 22 gauge, and it is silver plated, and it's got nice big loops. This would be great also for a charm bracelet or something like that. It's just really lovely, pretty chain. So there's lots you can do with that, but I chose to create these long chain earrings, so simple to make. And look at these Raven's Journey check glass beads. Oh my goodness, this color bowled me over. Like, I absolutely love it. Let me show you these beads in my hand. Look at these beauties. This is a great pop of color. So if you've got just a simple earring with that piece of chain, a bold, bright colored bead, yeah, that's a great pop of color for you. And I love these Raven's Journey check glass beads. There are so many available out there on artbeads.com. So feel free to take a look at these and others that are out there and available. So this is just a really simple earring that I made with just a couple of those beads. And that's another cool thing about this project. You don't need a ton of beads unless you want to make them with a ton of beads, and you don't need a ton of chain. So if you've not shopped chain before at artbeads.com, you can get chain by the foot. So this is what I had left over of the Figaro chain when I made that first pair of earrings. So chain by the foot is perfect for this kind of a project. You can grab a few different feet of different kinds of chain, and you can start playing around with the different styles of these chain earrings that you want to make. And then you pick out your beads. So the Persian check beads that I showed, these are amazing too. These are absolutely a gorgeous color with that Picasso finish. Absolutely wonderful. So you can get chain by the foot, pick out whatever beads you want. And there's also some chain that is sold by the inch. And we're going to work with this. I'm just going to give you a sneak peek of this. We're going to work with this to make one pair of earrings. And I absolutely love that chain. So some of the fancier chain that has maybe some dangle effect to it, that chain is usually sold by the inch. And that's great too, because you don't have to break the bank. You can get a few inches and just use it to make some fun earrings. And if you didn't want a whole bunch of that chain, you could certainly just get a couple of inches. This is 4 inches that I have here. All right, so I'm going to show you an earring that is a little bit fun with some chain and beads. Now this pair I made with one piece of chain that's a little bit longer in the center, and then two pieces of chain that are exactly the same length on either side of it. So that's one variation of what you can do. And I'm going to do a little bit something different. And I'm going to use these beads. So these are check glass 4mm Sleeping Beauty turquoise fire polish. This is definitely the color of Sleeping Beauty turquoise. And that's what drew my attention to it. Turquoise is such the rage. And I think this color is absolutely beautiful for spring and summer, really any time of year. Now, I struggled with which chain to choose for this earring. So again, just kind of giving you some food for thought. This chain is stainless steel, and it's a hammered flat cable. Now, I love this chain, but I think for these beads, it's a little bit too big. So this chain will overpower these beads just a little bit too much. But this would be great with like an 8mm bead. You could have a large bead, maybe even like a 10 or 12mm bead that could hang from this chain. And it is beautiful. This has that sort of darker silver effect. So if you kind of lean towards that more patinaed silver look, this is a great chain. But I think the winner for us is going to be this guy right here. Let me show you. This is some of my favorite chain. So this is silver-plated Rolo chain. And look at those just cute little links. They're so pretty. They're so shiny. This is, I think, such a beautiful shine with this turquoise color. And proportionately, I think we're good with our beads. So the links on this Rolo chain are 3 millimeter. The beads are 4 millimeters. So the chain is just a touch smaller in the links than the beads. And I think that will work just fine. So we're going to go ahead and make a fun chain design. And the way I like to think about putting my chain together is, how long do I want my earring? Now, as I showed you, I tend to lean in the long earring vein, but I know most folks don't typically like that. So if you grab a ruler, you can kind of get a sense of maybe what 2 or 3 inches of chain might look like. So I'm going to push this up a little bit higher so make sure you guys can see it. So I'm going to pop my ruler up there, and I think I like the concept of 2 inches being the longest that I'm going to work with. So I'm going to start by cutting my chain. Now, some chain has links that can open and is very easy to open it up, take off the piece that you want. But this particular chain is not that way. So I'm going to have to cut. And it's okay if it's not exactly where you wanted it. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly on the ruler, the length, unless you want it to be exact. And I think I'm going to go with that as my longest piece. And that's probably a little bit on the longer side because we're still going to add a bead and we're still going to add an ear wire up top. So, but I think that works. So how do I then make sure that I cut this one the same? I've got my ruler here, but I'm not sure that I can actually cut this the same length. Let me show you what I do. I use this. So the beading awl is an awesome tool, great for this kind of a project because you can take your chain that you cut and take your other piece of chain and you can take a look at where that needs to be cut. So I'm holding that up. See, I've got my 2 pieces of chain there, and we're going to take a look at where that needs to be cut. And I can see it. You might not be able to see it as well as me, but I'm going to snip that off. And sometimes you'll have the little link drop into your hand. Always make sure that you're not just cutting and allowing your pieces to fly everywhere. You certainly don't want these pieces to end up in someone's eyeball or on the floor where a cat might want to eat it or something. So I've got my first 2 pieces ready to go here. Now I want to add a couple more pieces, and I want to add sort of a little cascade here. So I'm going to do 3 pieces of chain per earring, kind of similar to what we did here, but I want it to be kind of a tiered effect. So thinking about length, I want maybe my next one to have enough room for the bead to hang down towards the end of this piece of chain. So I'm going to probably cut this first piece about here. And again, you can measure if you'd like. You can actually cut your first piece like this, like I just did, or you could put it back on the awl to see how it measures up. So let me take one piece here, my longest piece. Let me get that onto the awl. Let me show you how the length difference is on this one. So remember, we're going to add a bead. So I think maybe my longest piece, now that I see this hanging. I think my longest piece might be a touch too long. So I'm looking here, and visually, I think I'm gonna take off maybe 3 links there. And I didn't really protect that very well. But I like this better. I like that better. So now I need to adjust my longest piece for my other earring. Just gonna put this back on the awl. Put this piece on, and I've got a few links that need to come off there. So does anybody else use a beading awl for something similar like this? Tell me if you use a beading awl and if you like this for this kind of a measuring technique. I do. I can't make these without my beading awl. Okay, so I have my second piece. We checked it out. We compared it to our first piece. Now I'm going to take my chain that I still have intact down here, and I'm going to cut this one. So I want to make sure I kind of take it and hold it with my hand, and then I can visually see where it ends. And now I've got my second length of chain. So I'm going to move my longest off to the side and the second longest off to the side. Take my longest piece and my next longest piece and put them right next to each other. And I'm going to put a third piece in the mix. And I think what I'm going to do is probably end it right about there. So I know that's hard to see the exact spot, but just to give you the visual on how you could put this together. So now I've got my third piece, and I'm going to check it. I'm going to see how those 3 pieces look next to each other, because they're going to be together on the earring. So now I'm starting to see, I think I do want to take maybe a couple of links off of the center one, which maybe then means I want to take a link or 2 off the longest one. So I think, yeah. So that's, that's how this kind of process will go, is you might want to adjust as you go. So I'm going to take off a couple, and you'll have little pieces. You'll want to move them over to the side away from your workspace. So I'm going to put this one back on, and that then means I probably want to take off a couple down here. So I know this might be a touch wasteful of some of your wire or your chain, I'm sorry. But just remember that sometimes these designs are a little bit of trial and error. And just make sure you account for that when you pick up your chain. So I like the look of that. I like the look of those 3. They're all going to have a bead at the end. So now I've got to adjust these. So we got to go back and adjust these again. So this is my longest piece for the first, for the earring we just finished up. Let me get that guy on there. There we go. So that's actually, I think that's actually the second piece. So let me put this one back on. Yeah. So that's the longest one. So now I know I've got to cut right there to get us even. Get that back on there. So now we've got our longest pieces, longest, got our second longest, and we just need to take off a few here. So we got these ready to go. Put that there, put that there. Now I just need to cut the smallest one from my chain over here. and getting a good look at that. Cut this link right here. And these Xuron cutters make it so easy to cut this chain. So actually I need one more link off. So do that. All right. So we've got our smallest pieces ready to go now. And what's also very cool is I have plenty of chain left to work with. This is just, I actually bought 2 feet of the Rollo chain because I love it so much. So I'll probably make some other earrings or maybe even a bracelet with those. All right, so I've got a bunch of little scrappy pieces. I'm gonna get that off my table and throw those away. And I want to use these lovely, beautiful Sleeping Beauty turquoise colored check beads. They are phenomenal. So how are we gonna get these onto these pieces of chain? We're gonna use some head pins. And head pins are findings, so don't forget, guys, to go and check out your the pieces in the show today so that you can take advantage of any sale items that are out there. So I'm just getting all of these guys situated so I can make sure I know what I'm grabbing for. And I'm going to start with just adding to the smallest piece of chain. And I'm going to use head pins. Now, I think the head pins that I have here are actually out of stock. So I chose some others to have added to the show. You can use a flat end head pin or you can use a ball end head pin. I kind of like a ball end head pin because it brings continuity to your chain tones. So I'm going to add a bead. And you know what I think I'm going to do for this pair is I'm going to add 2 beads to each one of my head pins. Let's make this a little bit fun. So I'm going to get my round nose pliers and I'm going to start a wire wrap loop. And then I'm going to come in and open that up just a little bit. And I'm going to actually wrap this directly to my chain. Now, you can do a wire wrap loop and take a jump ring and add it to the chain if you're more comfortable with that. So I've got the chain right onto my loop. And then these amazing little pliers are going to come in handy because I'm going to grab that loop with the chain nose and I'm going to wrap around that bead or that loop. And then I'm going to get in and cut my excess off. And you have this cute little double wire wrap bead. Thank you for the hearts. This is fun. This is such a fun little project. I love to make these earrings. Now, you can come in and clean up your wire a little bit up top with these pliers. They are so handy for that as well. So I've got my first smallest piece ready to go. Then I've got my second longest piece of chain. And I'm going to add 2 more beads. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. I'm going to take a couple more beads, add them on to my next head pin. And sorry for the tool noise on the table here. And I'm going to make another loop. And we've got that loop up top. And then I'm just going to add the chain directly to my loop, which is wonderful. This Rollo chain just kind of goes right over it. So easy. And it's helpful with head pins to, especially when you're working with a smaller chain like this, it's helpful if your head pins are a smaller gauge because you can move that wire around a lot easier. So there's our little earring part 2 of 3. And then I've got my head pins are a little wonky. Can't have wonky head pins. So I'm going to put on 2 more beads, and then I'm going to do 1 more loop. And I know Becky was talking last week about how everybody does their wire wrap loops different. I definitely have my unique style for doing that. We should challenge, we should get back with Meredith and have her work that challenge with us. She was the one Meredith from Bead had suggested we get people together and have everybody show how they do it, because everybody does it a little bit different. So I'm going to cut that last piece off. Now we've got our little cascade of beads and chain, which is so fun. This color is going to be so great for spring and summer. So let me do my last 3. So we have a full pair of earrings, and then we're going to make a completely different look with that other fun chain I gave you a sneak peek of. So we're going to make a silver pair here, and then something in the gold family. And that'll be fun too. So I think in my tool show, I shared that these Zoran pliers make this kind of work that I do possible. I couldn't do my wire wrap loops without it. I just feel like it's now the thing that enables me to do this kind of wire wrapping. So, and these are really long head pins. You don't necessarily need this long of a head pin. You can pick up a smaller one somewhere in the 2-inch, 1.5-inch family is probably good. And for these small beads, you could probably use a 1-inch. I get really uncomfortable with 1-inch head pins myself. They just don't feel like I just don't feel like I can get my hands around them well enough. So, all right, almost done here. 1 more wrap. Grab 1 more head pin. But I do love these ball end head pins very much. They are really nice to work with, these. And there are all kinds of different head pins available at artbeads.com. So go check out what's available if you are looking for something different than what's in the show. So, all right, let's do 1 more wrap here. And get that around. And I think 2 wraps around is probably all that this bead can take. You don't want to over wrap, but you could certainly do more if you like more of a messy look. Okay, now here's something that you'll need to figure out also if you're going to make something like this. So I've got a couple of these really beautiful circle ball end ear wires. So this style is so cute. These are sterling and they're just so lovely. But it's going to be hard for me to fit 3 lengths of my chain onto that little loop there. So I don't want to manipulate that loop. You can manipulate your little loops at the end of your ear wires to accommodate larger things if you want to, but these are so nice, I don't want to do that. So a trick that you can use is you can get yourself some jump rings, and I've got a pretty chunky jump ring here. These are Nun Design jump rings, And I really like working with these. They have a little bit of heft to them. And I'm going to open this up. I'm going to make sure these actually, I'm pretty sure I double checked that these would fit. But you know what? I think they don't. Oh, they do. Yes, they did. So you're going to slide your chain pieces on to these jump rings. Then we're going to attach that to our ear wire. So let me just make sure. I kind of like to put them in order of length onto my jump ring. So I'm going to take my pliers, hold on to my jump ring, and let me see if I can do this on camera. Move these guys out of the way. I don't want those to fly everywhere. I had another bead accident in my studio this past week. A bunch of seed beads and other things all over the floor. Let me see if I can do this off camera really quick, guys, to make sure that it actually is working. So, yeah, I'm more comfortable doing I love these jump rings, but they're a little bit too chunky for this particular chain. So, really quickly behind me, you can find all kinds of jump rings at artbeads.com. There's lots of sizes, metals, etc. So I'm going to go with these. They're a little bit thinner gauge jump rings. And I really did test it out, but I think it's just, it's tough to get each link on, especially when I'm on camera here. So I'm putting on all 3 links of chain, and that's what our little cascade is going to look like. So super fun. So all you need to do is close up that jump ring. Okay. Then I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to do our second one. Grab my jump ring. Those Nun Design jump rings that are in the show are excellent, though. If you've got a bigger link, you will be able to use those very well with with a design like this. Okay, almost got this guy on. Come on now. There we go. It's got our second one ready to go. Checking the length. Yep, the links are all in order. Lengths, not links. And so what I'm going to do is I like the longest piece to be closest to my face. So I'm going to put them onto ear wires like that. And I'm going to open up my ear wire very carefully. These ear wires are some of my favorites. So with a jump ring, all you have to do is just drop it into your little loop at the end and then tighten up your ball end there. And that's what your earring looks like. So cute. I love these. I think these are going on my ears. I'm going to take this one on, and adjust that up. So these are colorful. They've got great movement. They've got great texture. So much fun. Do you guys like these? Is this a fun design? I love how they look. Oh my gosh, so much fun. So tell me in the comments, is this something that you like? Do you like to make something like this? I hope you guys will give this a try. So I'm going to set these aside. We're going to make a second fun pair of earrings. I'm going to set those aside because I'm going to put those on in a minute. So remember this chain. Oh, thanks for the hearts, you guys. I hope you will give that a try if you haven't before. this chain is really, really cool. So this is called Round Bauble Cluster, and it's in an antique brass, and it's got all these little baubles coming off of the chain. So the chain is just some, I think it's like a Rollo or maybe a cable chain, and it's just got all the little baubles attached. So I love how this looks. And one of my favorite colors to work with is this kind of peachy coral color. So these are Prestige 12 millimeter coins. They're crystal pearl coral, and they are such a beautiful color. I love working with this color. This color looks good on everyone. So this is a perfect color for spring, summer. You can even carry this into fall. And I love how it looks with that antique brass chain. So we're gonna now figure out how long we want our little pieces of chain for these little coin beads. So I'm gonna hold this up a little bit closer to the camera so you can see. So I'm thinking maybe about an inch to an inch and a half of this chain looks great. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. I'm glad you're still with me. Thanks for hanging with me this morning. Thanks for being here. So I'm thinking maybe about that much chain, maybe a touch more is where I want to cut this chain. So I think that's a good spot. We don't want these to be too long, but we don't want them to be too short. We want to be able to show off these beauties. So I'm going to start by cutting, and I'm covering up, and that's actually going to dislodge a few of the little baubles, and I would hold on to those if I were you, because you could use them for something else. So here's my little section of chain. Now I want my other section of chain to be equal length, so I'm putting it onto my beading awl. Then I'm going to grab my other section and take the top link and eyeball where I need to cut. And I think it's this link right here. So I'm going to pull that and grab my cutters and snip that off. Oh, and I just dropped one of the little baubles on the floor. So let's see how these two guys shape up next to each other. I think it's this piece. And it looks like maybe I need that last ring to come off to get these exactly the same. Yeah, that last one there is just a little bit long. So that's what the beading awl does for me, is it helps me to get a look at our pieces to make sure they match up. And I think we've got our chain pieces. These are so fun. I love them. So this is just going to be simple, right? And that's the other thing about these earrings, is they are really simple to make. So here's some head pins, and these are really short, and I'm not sure these were in stock as of the time I checked the show. So I put some other ones in the show so you guys have an option. So I'm going to put my beads onto these. These also have a ball end, but you could use a flat end. And these are gold, but look how nice the gold looks up against the antique brass. Like, it's a nice match. So the color of gold is kind of perfect for these. So what I like to do is then get an eyeball of kind of where I want to drop my wrap. So there's 2 of these little baubles on each of the rings. So I'm going to try to drop it in between there. We'll see if I can do that. Let's see if I can do that on camera. So I'm going to go and make my wire wrap loop. Now this is a 20 gauge head pins. This is a little bit harder to work with, a little bit stiffer. So I'm going to come up and hold my end of my bobble chain and pull that through. And now I've got it attached to my chain piece. Grab my pliers. And this is a little stiffer to go around the bead, but it works. So I'm gonna snip off our excess. And this is what our little bobble earring is gonna look like. Oh, I love this color of bead. That's so cute. So, so cute. All right. Kind of has the peach fuzz effect to it. So the Pantone color of the year is peach fuzz. Coral and peach are kind of in the same vein. So, all right. Put our second one together there. And I'm going to pull my chain piece, pull those bobbles apart, and drop my loop in there. Pull that loop on. Come on, buddy. Let me see up close here. I just got to pull this out a little bit. Start over, guys. Sorry about that. I got my chain all stuck in there. So I'm going to pull this out just a little bit. Give myself enough room to get that in there. And pull those little bobbles apart. Try this again. Slide our chain on. There we go. And take our head pin, wrap that around a couple of times, and then we're going to cut our excess off, holding on to that excess piece so that it does not fly all over the place. Poke someone's eye out. All right. I love these. Oh, I just love those little baubles, the little beads with them. This color combination, the metal and color combination is so fun and fabulous. So I'm going to take some matching ear wires for that chain. So I'm going to create the continuity. This is natural brass. This is vintage. These are French ear wires. They have a nice large loop up top. This is a very classic ear wire style. And I'm going to open those guys up. And then just like before, I want to find my center point of that chain up top. And I'm going to attach my ear wire like so. And then close up that loop, kind of like you close a jump ring. And oh, so fun. I love these. I absolutely love these. So, so fun. So go out and check out like all of the fun little bobble chain that's out there. There's so many fun kinds of chain that you can get, and you don't have to buy a lot. You can buy a couple of inches and make these fun little bobbly earrings too. So this is what our second pair looks like. Oh, they're so fun. Okay, these are by far my favorite. Now, they don't match my outfit, but I really like them. So these are lovely. We made these guys. We made these. Totally different look. But that's what I love about this kind of a project is the options are endless. You can pick your chain, pick your beads. You could add a different bead to this particular chain and it's a completely different earring. You can use different lengths of chain. You can add beads up and down the chain. That's a fun thing. So there's just endless options for this kind of an earring. So go and design your own. Grab some chain, grab some beads. There is certainly an abundance of them at artbeads.com. So find the beads and ear wires and pieces and parts that you want. I'm putting these on behind the scenes so then I can flip you around and you can see how these look. So flipping. Oh, see, look at how these look, you guys. So elegant, so fun. I love the little pop of color, the brightness of the chain, the texture of the chain. So many fun options. If I were going to wear these, let me show you what the other ones look like. They are fun too. Oh, look at those. Are so, bring my hair out of the way. Look at those. They're so fun. So yeah, I hope that you guys will give this a try. If you've never played around with chain and beads before to make earrings, I hope you'll give it a try. Go and pick out some fun things, make some fun earrings, make some for your friend or daughter that might be going to a prom coming up. This kind of a style is very elegant. They can be longer, they can be sparkly. And Mother's Day is also coming up. Now that we're past Easter, that will be the focus for a lot of us, is making beautiful things for moms in our lives. So these are great. Make a pair for all the moms in your life and just have a little bit of fun. So I appreciate all of you for being here today. Thank you for joining me on Designing with Deb. If you are interested in some fun products today, don't forget to close out your cart so you don't miss the sales and the deals and all of the pretties that you're picking out. And I hope you'll join us for the rest of the week. We've got Julie Bean on Wednesday, Becky on Thursday, Sarah Lovecraft on Friday. All of them are making some really pretty things this week. I know you'll all love those little sessions that we're going to have. And I'll be back next Monday. We're going to do some more fun designing. I'm going to teach you about asymmetrical designs. So I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about that. And come back and watch all of the shows. They're all available on demand for you. So binge watch all the jewelry making shows. And gosh, I hope you guys just have a really good week and enjoy making some jewelry. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Bye now.